For my community assessment project, I chose to look at the overarching topic of community safety for the senior population. The one big safety issue I focused on in particular was elderly falls. I thoroughly investigated elderly fall prevention in the community of Medfield and learned about who is involved with this issue and the measures that are in place to help prevent falls. I determined from my 3 key informant interviews that there is already many interventions in place for fall prevention. Some of these interventions include evidence-based fall prevention programs, various weekly exercise classes that target balance and strength, and things like blood pressure checks, gait testing, medication reviews, educational sessions on fall prevention, foot exams by podiatrists, among many others. Instead of coming up with another intervention for fall prevention, I took a step back and looked at areas in my community that I thought would be a safety issue for seniors and that would prevent physical activity and exercise. Activity and exercise are crucial for this age group, especially when it comes to preventing falls. Many seniors would prefer just to simply go outside and walk around their neighborhood for exercise, rather than participating in a class. The functional health pattern I identified for my topic was activity exercise. Here's an overview of the data that I found related to elderly falls. Both nationally and in Massachusetts, falls are the leading cause of unintentional, non-fatal, and fatal injuries among older adults. Every week in Massachusetts, falls and fall-related injuries result in approximately 900 ED visits by older adults. Of these 900 people, about 400 end up being hospitalized and 10 deaths occur. Annually, the number of deaths from falls in Massachusetts is about 548, and almost 19,000 people are hospitalized each year. There have been several initiatives taken by the state of Massachusetts to help prevent falls. One of them is the Massachusetts Falls Prevention Coalition, which is an active voluntary group of over 130 members representing more than 80 organizations. These members share a common goal to educate and raise awareness that falls and related injuries are preventable and that they have held Fall Prevention Awareness Day annually since 2007 at the State House. This year, due to COVID, this took place through a live virtual falls prevention educational session that was hosted by State Rep. Paul Tucker. In years 2014 and 2016, Massachusetts was awarded 2-year grants from the U.S. Administration for Community Living to further expand and sustain evidence-based falls prevention programming for older adults and adults with disabilities at risk for falls. Under this grant, 3,600 older adults participated in programs such as A Matter of Balance and Tai Chi Quan, Moving for Better Balance. Tai Chi Quan, Moving for Better Balance, is a research-based balance training regimen designed for older adults at risk for falling and for people with balance disorders. A Matter of Balance is a program that people can take that not only acknowledges the risk of falling, but emphasizes practical coping strategies to reduce this fear. Why elder pedestrian safety must be addressed in my community of Medfield. In general, senior pedestrians have a higher vulnerability for injury for many different reasons, including possible visual impairment, hearing loss, decreased physical mobility, cognitive changes, and wheelchair or mobility scooter use. Lack of pedestrian facilities is a tremendous barrier to walking among older adults. In my community, on the busy road I live on in Medfield called Route 27, there is only a sidewalk on one side of the road. Cars speed down this road, and many times I see people who live on my side of the street dash across the road in between cars just to get to a sidewalk. I even have encountered seniors doing this as well who live in my condo complex. One of my family members is visually impaired with severe macular degeneration, so they are unable to cross the street on their own, and this is a huge barrier to getting exercise when no one else is home. Currently, there is no safe way to cross the road to reach the sidewalk on the other side. This is especially an issue for seniors as they have a slower walking time, may use assisted devices, may have hearing loss or visual impairment, etc. This creates a barrier to physical activity and walking for the senior population. The intervention I was going to propose is to implement a pedestrian crossing on the road that I live on with flashing yellow lights to signal caution and alert oncoming cars that there is a crosswalk. I'm going to be writing a letter to the Medfield Department of Public Works for part 2 of my project. They are responsible for road and sidewalk maintenance, safety, and repair, among many other things. I am going to write them a formal letter expressing my concern for why I believe the crosswalk should be installed on Route 27, with different argumentative points to back it up. I'm going to briefly include that one of my family members is unsafe to cross the road and that this is a significant barrier for them. The counter arguments they could have is that there is a red light a few hundred feet ahead and people will not want to or expect to slow down again. And even though there is a crosswalk at the red light ahead, there is no safe way to get there unless crossing the road to the sidewalk. People who drive down the road regularly will become accustomed to proceeding with caution over time in the area after the red light. In addition, since the red light is not too far up ahead, we can hope that people are not speeding at this part of the road and are getting ready to slow down anyways. They also could say that there's already a sidewalk on one side of the road and that people won't expect to see a crosswalk on a busy road with the volume and speed of traffic, and it could be dangerous if cars do not see the pedestrian. My idea was that we could install a flashing yellow light a little up ahead that's noticeable enough for drivers to see well. Most pedestrians at this age, but not all, will make sure cars are stopped on both sides before crossing. Thank you for listening, and here are my references.